Have you ever wondered why aging so often brings a sense of loneliness? Why, despite being surrounded by loved ones, we sometimes still feel a deep emptiness? And why, as time goes on, loss becomes an unavoidable part of life? How do we deal with these challenges and find peace as we face the inevitable changes that come with growing older? Welcome to Stillness Unfolded, where we dive deep into the spiritual aspects of life and explore the wisdom that comes with age. In this video, we'll explore the hidden gifts of aging, including how love never truly dies, how the process of growing older can be a transformation, and how our connection to others remains unbroken even in the face of loss. If you've ever wondered about the deeper meaning behind aging and loss, or how to find peace in these inevitable transitions, this video is for you. Stay with us as we explore these powerful truths together. Before we begin, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Also, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below, so we can keep creating valuable content that resonates with you. This video is filled with insightful information, so be sure to watch all the way through to absorb everything we'll discuss. Lesson 1. You will be forgotten, but never gone. As time passes, the inevitable question arises, will I be remembered? This question, perhaps more than any other, echoes in the hearts of many as they grow older. The fear of being forgotten, of having lived a life that fades into nothingness, is a deep and natural fear. We wonder if the love we've given, the work we've done, or the stories we've lived will be lost to time, as if our presence was never truly significant. But let's take a step back and reflect on this fear from a Buddhist perspective, one that might challenge the very foundation of how we view ourselves and our place in the world. The Buddhist teachings offer profound wisdom on this subject. He spoke often about the idea of clinging to identity and ego. It is through our attachment to these things, our need to be remembered, to leave behind a lasting legacy, that we often find ourselves trapped in suffering. As we grow older, it's easy to believe that if we are not remembered in grandiose ways, through monuments, statues, or even the endless posts on social media, then our lives have been in vain. We long for something permanent, something that proves our existence mattered in the grand scheme of time. But this desire for permanence itself can become a chain that weighs down the heart. Buddhism teaches us that all things are impermanent, and this includes the ego. It includes the desire to leave behind something that persists in the minds of others long after we've gone. However, by grasping too tightly to this need for permanence, we inevitably set ourselves up for disappointment. Nothing in life remains unchanged, not our bodies, not our minds, and certainly not how others will remember us. The Buddha's insight into the illusory nature of the self encourages us to stop seeking identity and validation through the eyes of others. In doing so, we free ourselves from the burden of wanting to be eternally remembered in the ways that society demands. But does this mean we should give up on leaving a mark, on making a meaningful impact? Not at all. The Buddhist teachings also offer us a different perspective. We are not meant to be monuments. Instead of striving to be immortalized in marble or stone, we are rivers, ever-flowing, ever-changing, ever-touching the world in countless, often unseen ways. The energy we put into the world is what truly endures. This energy flows from our small acts of kindness, from the love we give without expecting anything in return, from the moments of compassion we offer, even when no one is watching. Take, for example, the small but significant acts that we often overlook. A kind word to a stranger, a smile shared with someone who is feeling down, or a helping hand offered to someone in need. These are not grand gestures, but their impact can be immeasurable. They ripple out into the world, touching others in ways we may never fully understand. A smile to a stranger may brighten their day, which in turn may make them more compassionate towards someone else. That kindness spreads far beyond what we can see or even imagine. In a similar way, the love we offer to those around us, our children, our friends, our family, may not be celebrated by statues or public accolades, but it lives on in the way those people carry our love with them, in the way they pass it on to others. True legacy is not found in public monuments, but in the quiet, often unnoticed ways we shape the lives of those around us. Even the memories we leave behind are not always tied to the material. They live in the hearts of others and in the lessons they carry forward. The idea of being forgotten is often tied to the ego's deep-seated need to control how others perceive us. I've seen it in my own life. As we grow older, there is often a fear that our stories, our contributions, won't be valued. We may wonder, will anyone remember the impact I made? The desire to be acknowledged can sometimes be so strong that we feel diminished when recognition doesn't come in the form we expected. But the Buddhist teachings offer us a path of freedom. He invites us to let go of the need for validation from others. When we stop clinging to the idea that our value depends on how others remember us, we are free to live authentically. True freedom, the Buddha teaches, lies in embracing impermanence, in recognizing that we are part of a larger flow of life. Our essence is not tied to our name, to our accomplishments, or to our appearance. We are not defined by how long we are remembered or how grand our legacy appears to others. This realization is incredibly liberating. The energy we give to the world doesn't need to be acknowledged to be powerful. It doesn't matter if we don't leave behind a statue or a famous name. What matters is that we live fully, love deeply, and give generously in the moment. When we let go of the need for external validation, we open ourselves up to a deeper sense of fulfillment. We no longer need to measure our worth by how others see us. We can simply enjoy the peace that comes from living true to ourselves. As I reflect on my own journey, I've come to understand that the essence of life is not in the permanent marks we leave behind, but in the relationships we nurture, the lives we touch, and the love we spread. The more we invest in these intangible aspects, the more deeply we experience fulfillment. By letting go of the ego's demand for recognition, we can cultivate a life rich in meaning that extends beyond our time in this world. Lesson 2. Your body is aging and awakening with you. The aging body can often feel like a betrayal. We remember a time when our bodies moved with ease, when we could run without tiring, jump without hesitation, and bend without pain. But now, we hear the creaks, feel the stiffness, and find ourselves moving slower than before. The changes are inevitable, and many view them with frustration. We long for the energy and strength of youth, wishing we could turn back time. But what if instead of seeing these changes as signs of decline, we began to see them as something far deeper, as a reflection of a profound truth? Buddhism offers a unique perspective on aging, one that challenges the conventional view of the body as something to be maintained in a youthful, perfect state. In Buddhist philosophy, the body is not something we possess. It is not a permanent fixture or a static entity that we can control. Rather, it is something we temporarily care for during this lifetime. It is a sacred vessel, and like all things in the world, it changes over time. The Buddha taught that impermanence is one of the fundamental truths of existence. Everything in life, from our thoughts to our relationships, from our possessions to our bodies, is subject to change. This includes the very bodies we live in. Our bodies, like everything else, are impermanent. Their aging is not a punishment or a failure, but rather a natural process, a testament to the journeys they've carried us through. As our bodies age, we may notice that we cannot do the things we once did with ease. The muscles that once felt strong now feel stiff. The skin that was once smooth and firm is now more delicate, bearing the marks of time. But these changes are not failures. They are reminders of all the paths we've walked, all the challenges we've faced, and all the experiences we've had. Each wrinkle, each ache, each gray hair tells the story of a life fully lived. Aging is not a loss. It is a celebration of the life our bodies have carried us through. Buddhism teaches us to embrace impermanence. Our bodies are not meant to remain the same, nor should they. The very nature of existence is change. The Buddha spoke about the transient nature of life, and in that truth lies freedom. If we can let go of our attachment to a body that remains eternally young, we can embrace the wisdom that comes with aging. The body's aging is a reminder of our journey, and the imperfections it now carries are like badges of honor, marking the milestones of our lives. Every ache tells a story of perseverance, every wrinkle a story of joy and sorrow. The body's aging isn't a sign of weakness. It is a testament to the strength we have gained and the wisdom we have acquired. I used to resist the changes in my body, struggling against the inevitable signs of aging. I would look in the mirror and see the lines on my face and the softness where there was once firmness. At first, It felt like betrayal, like my body was failing me, letting me down. I longed for the strength I once had, the flexibility, the vitality of my younger years. But over time, as I reflected more deeply, I began to understand the wisdom that comes with age. Buddhism teaches that aging is not a decline, but a natural transformation. As I've grown older, I've come to appreciate this transformation. The creaks in my joints that I once dreaded now remind me of the many paths I've walked. Each step I've taken has brought me closer to where I am today. Those small aches are not signs of failure, but reminders of the miles I've traveled, the moments I've lived through, the people I've loved. Each line on my face tells the story of joy and sorrow, of laughter and tears, of experiences that have shaped me into who I am now. Instead of fighting aging, I've learned to honor my body for all it has done for me. I no longer view the changes in my body as something to be resisted, but as a natural part of the journey. The slowing down of my movements, the need for rest, the changes in my appearance, all of these are not signs of weakness, they are signs of wisdom. I've come to realize that my body is no longer a vessel for speed or strength, it is a vessel for presence. And that, I believe, is the true gift of aging. As we age, we become more in tune with ourselves, more aware of the preciousness of each moment. The body teaches us presence, not by rushing, not by pushing through discomfort, but by slowing down and being present with what is. The act of aging invites us to live more mindfully, to savor the moments we have, and to find gratitude in the body we have. I have learned to be kinder to myself as I age. Instead of criticizing my body for not being what it once was, I now thank it for all that it has been. The lines on my face are not flaws, they are marks of a life fully lived. The softening of my body is not a loss. It is the expression of wisdom and experience. And every ache or pain is a reminder that I have been on a journey, and that journey has shaped me in ways I never could have imagined. Buddhism also teaches us that our body is a sacred companion for this lifetime. It is not something we own, but something we are entrusted with. And like any good companion, it changes with time. The idea that aging is a failure is rooted in the desire for permanence, a desire that, in Buddhism, is seen as the source of much of our suffering. Instead of focusing on what we have lost, we can begin to see the changes in our bodies as part of the natural flow of life. Aging is not a punishment. It is a reflection of the impermanent nature of existence. The body's aging is not a sign that we have failed. It is simply a natural part of the process of living. The more we resist these changes, the more we suffer. But when we accept the impermanence of our bodies and embrace the changes, we free ourselves from the fear of aging. We learn to honor the wisdom that comes with age and appreciate the body for all it has done for us. In the end, it is not the perfection of our bodies that matters, but the way in which we use them to experience life, to love, and to be present in each moment. Lesson 3. Loneliness is real, but so is interconnection. Loneliness is a harsh reality for many as they grow older. It's something that creeps in quietly but persistently, like the empty spaces in a room that once echoed with laughter, the chairs once filled now left vacant, and the phone that no longer rings as often. Friends pass away, family members move to distant places, and the circles that once felt so vibrant begin to thin. The silence that accompanies these changes can sometimes feel overwhelming, deafening even. It's in these moments that loneliness can feel like a heavy burden, one that presses down on your chest, reminding you of the distance between you and the world around you. But while loneliness is an undeniable and real experience, Buddhism offers us a perspective that can change the way we approach it. In Buddhism, there is a concept known as interbeing. This idea teaches us that we are all interconnected, that nothing exists in isolation. We are not separate beings, living in solitude in a vast world. Instead, we are deeply intertwined with everything around us, the people we have loved, the experiences we have shared, the lessons we've learned. We are not solitary entities. We are a part of something much larger, much greater than ourselves. The more we come to understand the reality of interconnection, the less isolated we feel. The truth is, you are never truly alone. While the physical presence of others may not always be there, the relationships, memories, and love we've shared continue to exist in subtle but profound ways. These invisible threads of connection are always present, and when we recognize them, loneliness starts to lose its power. It no longer feels like a void, but rather a space to be filled with new connections and new understandings. Interbeing is about recognizing the unity of all things. It is about understanding that even in our moments of solitude, we are still part of a larger whole. The person we are today is made up of all the people we've met, the love we've given and received, and the moments we've experienced. Each interaction we've had, each conversation, each act of kindness has become a thread woven into the fabric of our being. Even when others are no longer physically present in our lives, they remain with us in the energy and the impact they have had on us. In this way, we are never truly apart from the people who have shaped us. As we age and our social circles naturally shrink, it can be easy to fall into the trap of believing that we are forgotten or invisible, that our lives no longer matter in the way they once did. But this is a misconception. Just because people are no longer in the room with us doesn't mean they've left us. Their presence is still felt in the stories they've shared with us, in the teachings they've passed down, and in the memories that continue to shape our world. In my own life, I've found that the more I give to others, the less lonely I feel. It sounds paradoxical, doesn't it? That by reaching out and showing kindness to others, we fill the emptiness within ourselves. But it's true. Whether it's a small act of kindness, a warm smile to a stranger, a thoughtful message to a friend, or simply offering a listening ear, these moments of connection have the power to bridge the gap between loneliness and belonging. Even as I've grown older and my physical abilities have changed, my capacity to connect with others has only become more precious. It's no longer about large gatherings or being constantly surrounded by people. I've come to understand that meaningful connection doesn't always require physical presence. It can be found in shared moments of quiet understanding, in a hug, in a gentle touch, or in a heartfelt conversation. These moments are more valuable than I ever realized in my younger years. When I look back on my life, the moments I treasure the most are not the times I was alone, but the moments when I was present for others. Connection is not just something we receive, it's something we generate, something we actively create. In giving to others, we not only ease their loneliness, but we ease our own. Every small act of kindness, no matter how insignificant it may seem, ripples out into the world. It's as if we create an invisible thread that connects us to someone else, and in doing so, we feel less isolated. When I was younger, I often sought validation through external accomplishments, through the things I could show the world. But as I've aged, I've come to understand that true fulfillment doesn't come from what we achieve outwardly, but from the connections we make with others, from the love we give and the love we receive. Even in times of solitude, I've found peace in knowing that my relationships, the connections I've nurtured over the years, are still with me, still part of me. These threads of connection are like an invisible web that holds us together across time and space. Buddhism teaches that no one is truly alone, because we are all part of a greater whole. We are interconnected in ways that we often don't see, and those connections have the power to heal, to comfort, and to transform. In moments of loneliness, it can be easy to feel as though we are invisible, as though no one sees us or remembers us. But the truth is, we are always seen by the universe, by those who carry our love and our memory with them. And when we open our hearts to others, we find that we are met with the same kindness, the same love in return. In Buddhism, we learn to embrace our interconnectedness, to recognize that every moment, every interaction, is an opportunity to deepen our connection to the world around us. Whether it's through simple acts of kindness, through sharing our stories, or through being present for others, we can create a web of connection that supports and nurtures us all. As we move through life, especially as we age, it's important to remember that connection is not measured by the number of people around us, but by the depth of our interactions and the sincerity of our presence. We are all part of the same human family, bound together by love, compassion, and shared experience. The more we acknowledge and nurture these connections, the less we feel the weight of loneliness, and the more we find peace in knowing that we are not separate, but part of something vast and beautiful. The power of interconnection lies in the recognition that no matter how distant or isolated we may feel, we are always tied to something greater than ourselves. And it is through this understanding that we can truly overcome loneliness, not by waiting for others to reach out to us, but by extending our hearts and our kindness to the world, knowing that in doing so, we are never truly alone. Lesson 4. You're not who you were, and that's beautiful. As we age, we are inevitably confronted with a question that can sometimes feel unsettling. Who am I now? The roles we once defined ourselves by, parent, teacher, leader, no longer hold the same weight. These roles, which once gave our lives structure and meaning, begin to fade as time passes. Children grow up and become independent. Our careers may change or come to an end. Relationships evolve. The identity we once clung to, the person we thought we were, begins to dissipate. This transition can be disorienting. We might feel lost, as if we are no longer sure of who we are or where we fit into the world. But Buddhism offers a different perspective on this existential challenge. We are not fixed. This is one of the core teachings of the Buddha. We are not bound to a singular identity or a specific role. We are constantly evolving, constantly transforming in response to our experiences. Our past does not define us, and the person we were yesterday is not the person we have to be today. As we age, we shed old layers of identity, sometimes involuntarily, but this shedding is not a loss. It is an opportunity for growth, for transformation. The Buddha's concept of anatta, or non-self, invites us to see that we are not a static being with a fixed identity. The idea that we are only one thing, one role, or one definition is an illusion. Life is fluid, and our identities are equally fluid. The beauty of aging lies in letting go of old identities that no longer serve us, and in making space for the person we are becoming, not just the person we once were. Aging is not a loss of self, it is a deepening of self. Each phase of life, each stage of growth, is an opportunity to embrace a new version of who we are. Instead of clinging to outdated roles and expectations, aging provides us the freedom to explore new aspects of ourselves. It is in this freedom that we truly begin to understand the richness of life. I've personally experienced this shift as I've grown older. I remember a time when I defined myself by my job, my relationships, and the roles I played in the lives of others. I was a daughter, a friend, a colleague, and a partner. My career defined me. My responsibilities were what I clung to as a means of feeling valuable, relevant, and anchored in the world. These roles gave me a sense of purpose and identity. But as time passed, I began to notice subtle shifts. The work I once poured myself into started to change. My relationships evolved, some growing closer while others faded. The sense of self I had carefully built began to feel hollow, as if it no longer fit me. I was no longer the same person I was when I was first labeled by those roles. In the beginning, this was frightening. Who was I now, without those labels? Without my job, without my role in my family, without the things that had always defined me? It felt like I was standing at the edge of a cliff, looking into an abyss where my old self seemed to be disappearing. But over time, I began to understand that this process of shedding old identities was not a loss. It was an opportunity for freedom. By letting go of these roles, I was making space for the person I am becoming. A person not bound by the expectations of others or by the limitations of the past. I learned to appreciate the present moment, embracing who I was becoming instead of clinging to who I used to be. The more I let go, the more I felt liberated. I began to understand that my worth was not tied to the roles I played. In fact, the more I released those old identities, the more I began to rediscover parts of myself that I had long neglected: my creativity, my curiosity, my desire for new experiences. I found a renewed sense of purpose, not in the things I had achieved or the roles I had filled, but in the simple act of being present. Aging gave me the opportunity to rediscover who I am, not based on what I had done or who I had been, but simply based on who I am now. This process of letting go of old identities and embracing new ones is not only freeing, but it is also deeply beautiful. In Buddhism, the concept of impermanence, that everything is subject to change, is not seen as something to fear, but as something to be celebrated. Our identities are not fixed, and that is a wonderful thing. It means that we are never limited to the person we were yesterday. Every moment is an opportunity to evolve, to embrace new aspects of who we are. We do not have to carry the weight of past identities forever. As we age, we can continually redefine ourselves, shedding old layers that no longer serve us and stepping into new possibilities. Aging allows us to move beyond the constraints of the past, the expectations we or others may have placed on us, and explore a more authentic version of ourselves. This freedom is one of the greatest gifts that aging offers. The beauty of aging lies in its ability to release us from the expectations of others and from the pressure to conform to a certain image of who we should be. It allows us to embrace a deeper truth, that we are not defined by our roles or our past. We are defined by our capacity to grow, to change, and to embrace the unknown. As we grow older, we learn to be less attached to labels and more open to the fluidity of who we are. Instead of viewing aging as the slow decline of a person, we can see it as an opportunity for rebirth, a time to evolve and to return to the essentials of life. This process of transformation is not a loss, but a process of deepening. It is a journey toward becoming more fully ourselves, unencumbered by the roles we once clung to. The true beauty of aging is in the realization that we are not bound by our past. The person you are today is not limited by the roles you've played in the past or the identity you once held. The freedom that comes with aging is in shedding the old and embracing the new. This journey is a chance to live authentically, to live in the present moment without the weight of past expectations. I've found that the more I release old identities, the more I feel connected to my true self. I no longer feel the need to perform or meet others' expectations. I can simply be, and that, I believe, is the most beautiful gift of aging, the freedom to rediscover and embrace the person we are becoming, without the constraints of who we were. Aging, in this sense, is not about losing who we were. It is about embracing the evolution of who we are. It is about stepping into the fullness of our being, unburdened by the past, and open to all the possibilities the future holds. As we age, we are given the opportunity to grow into the person we were always meant to be, not defined by roles, not confined by past identities, but free to be fully ourselves. Lesson 5. You've witnessed loss, but love never dies. Aging brings with it the inevitable experience of loss, friends, family, pets, and even parts of ourselves. As we move through life, loss becomes an ever-present reality. We lose loved ones to death, and we also experience the quiet loss of things we once held dear, the vigor of youth, the strength of our body, the clarity of our mind. These losses can feel like an overwhelming weight, especially as we age. The absence of those we love can create a deep ache, a void that seems impossible to fill. But while the physical presence of people we care about may fade, there is a deeper truth that Buddhism offers about the nature of love and loss. Love transcends death. The Buddha teaches us that love does not end with death. It does not vanish when someone is no longer physically present in our lives. Instead, love continues to live on in the lives we have touched and in the people we have influenced. It lives on in the lessons we've shared, the memories we've created, and the kindness we've passed on. The love we give, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, becomes an eternal force. It doesn't die. It simply transforms, continuing to resonate in ways we may never fully understand. Grief, as painful as it is not a punishment. In fact, grief is a sign of how deeply we have loved. When we grieve, we are acknowledging the significance of that love and the depth of connection we shared with someone. The pain of loss is not a reflection of something lacking in us, but rather a testament to the richness of the bond we had. In Buddhism, we are encouraged not to resist or reject our grief, but to walk alongside it, to allow it to guide us through the process of healing. Grief is not something to get over. It is part of the natural flow of life, a reminder that love has left its mark on our hearts, and that mark will continue to shape us. The Buddha's teachings remind us that everything in life is impermanent, including our physical bodies and the people we love. But while impermanence is a reality, love itself is not bound by the same laws of change. Love, in its truest form, is eternal. It transcends the boundaries of time, space, and even death. When we learn to view love in this way, we begin to see that loss is not the end of the story. It is a chapter that shifts, but but it never truly closes. One of the hardest parts of aging is witnessing the loss of those we care about. Over the years, I have lost friends, family, and even beloved pets, each loss carrying its own unique weight and sorrow. At times, it has felt as though a part of me was gone, as if their absence left a permanent void in my heart. I've experienced those moments of profound silence, the ones where you reach for the phone to call someone, only to remember they're no longer there. Or when you walk into a room and their absence is felt so deeply that it takes your breath away. But over time, I've come to realize that grief is not something to get over. It's not something that, with time, simply fades away. Grief is something to walk alongside, a companion in the journey of life that teaches us about the nature of love. The more I allowed myself to feel my grief, to sit with the pain, the more I began to understand that grief and love are intertwined. When we grieve, we are not losing the love we shared. In fact, we are honoring it. As I reflect on the people I've lost, I realize that their love continues to influence me in ways I couldn't have anticipated. Every time I share a story about them, every time I laugh remembering something they said or did, I am keeping them alive in my heart. Their love doesn't vanish. It lives on in my memories, in the way I live my life, and in the lessons they taught me. Their love becomes a legacy, one that shapes who I am and how I interact with the world. This realization has been deeply healing. It has taught me that while we may no longer have physical contact with those who have passed, we still have a deep spiritual connection with them. Their love becomes part of us, influencing our actions, our decisions, and even our values. And this, I believe, is the true beauty of love. It does not die, but continues to ripple out, touching others in ways we may never fully comprehend. When we hold on to the love we've shared with others, we find that it continues to shape us. It influences the way we love others, the way we approach life's challenges, and the way we view the world. The love that lives on in us becomes a beacon, guiding us through difficult moments and reminding us of the depth of connection we've experienced. Love, as the Buddha teaches, is not confined to the material world. It transcends the physical and reaches into the hearts of others. Even after death, the love we've given continues to shape the world. When we remember the people we've lost, we are keeping their love alive by passing it on through our actions, our kindness, and our willingness to love others. Each act of kindness we extend to another person carries the imprint of the love we've received. It is like a seed that, once planted, continues to grow and spread. This understanding has helped me find peace in my grief. Rather than seeing loss as an ending, I now see it as a transition. Those we've lost are still present in the love they gave us, in the wisdom they shared, and in the ways they shaped our hearts. The love we shared with them becomes part of the larger tapestry of life, continuing to weave itself into the fabric of the world. In this sense, no one we love is ever truly gone. They live on in us, and through us, in everything we do. As we age and experience more loss, it is easy to become fearful of forgetting those we've lost. We might worry that with time, the memories will fade and the connection will be lost. But in truth, love does not fade with time. It may change form, but it never disappears. When we remember those we've lost, whether through stories, rituals, or simple reflections, we are nurturing their love and ensuring that it continues to live in the world. It is a way of honoring them and the impact they had on our lives. As we wrap up today's journey, I hope you've gained a new perspective on the aging process, love, and the beauty of human connection. Aging doesn't have to be feared. It's an opportunity to grow deeper, to embrace transformation, and to appreciate the love that continues to live on through us and the people we've touched. Remember, the love we give never truly dies. It carries forward in ways we may never fully understand. If you found this video meaningful, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to Stillness Unfolded for more thought-provoking content. Your support means the world to us. And, as always, feel free to share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you connect with these ideas. Your feedback helps us continue to improve and create content that matters. Thank you for watching, and remember, there's always more wisdom to uncover. So, keep embracing life's unfolding journey, mindfully, peacefully, and with love. Until next time, take care.